What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Artists at Work. I am your host, 1AM, and today we're going to be talking to one of my good friends and dope artist, Metazul. What's up?
What's up, 1AM? How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good because I was listening to your music today in my work vehicle.
Listen to that old school OG Chucks, huh?
Yeah, that old school OG Chucks, but also the new school 1AM too.
Hey.
So, both sides of it.
Thank you. For the people who don't know who you are, just give us a little background of who you are.
I am Metazul. I was born in Boston, but I've lived most of my life here in California. A rapper, producer, play guitar, a bunch of different instruments. Traveler. I've been to multiple continents. I actually also recorded music while traveling. That was kind of in the beginning stages, but that was really cool. Try to incorporate many languages and different cultures into my music and just keep it diverse and keep it new and have fun with it.
Yeah. What languages do you know? I'm just curious.
Well, I can speak fluently English and Spanish, although my Spanish isn't 100% perfect because I learned it as a second language. But I studied it in school and also traveled about 1 year in South America and got to practice a lot. So there's those two. But then I speak a lot of just phrases of other country or other languages. I know a little bit of French, a little bit of Russian, a little bit Chinese, a little bit Khmer, Cambodian language. Huh?
No way, that's so cool.
Hey, yeah. So I'm trying to always, actually I really like languages. I thought it was really cool. That's why I really got into Spanish when I was young. When I first moved to California, I started taking my first Spanish class. And that was super cool how you could use totally different sounds and communicate with people, and that's how different cultures are formed, and how that's even possible. You can translate the sound effects that your mouth make into another language, and then you can all understand each other still. It's pretty crazy.
What's your favorite? I'm just curious.
My favorite language?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's hard. I like Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. I think that's a really cool language. Italian. I thought Khmer was cool because I had to learn a little bit while I was there based on, I was working at a pizza restaurant in Cambodia.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, those languages, the Romance languages I think are pretty cool.
Yeah, Spanish and Italian. I've been trying to learn.
Especially if you're writing, because it rhymes way easier and stuff like that. It's just written.
Yeah.
It's almost written to be verse, But
yeah.
Sorry, I know I kind of interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
No. There's that rhythm, right, of the different languages. I was just saying, I was trying to learn Italian last year during the pandemic, and I kind of know a little bit. And I was trying to implement that into my music as well as Spanish like you, but I think you do it way better.
I wanna hear you do a Spanish track actually, or Portuguese too. That would be really cool.
That would be crazy.
I want to see you spit a verse in another language. I think you could do it. I think you shouldn't underestimate your potential.
Well, luckily you will hear that this year because I actually got Isaias. For those of you guys don't know, Isaias is my fiance, but he actually helped me write a verse. So I tried to write Italian, Spanish, and English verse. So that's going to be coming out this year. But
what's the topic? If I'm not, I don't want to
This interview is about you, sir.
Sure, right, but it's 1 a.m. You know what I mean? Okay, back to you.
It shall be revealed. But what would be cool is to do a multi-language track with you.
I would be totally down. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope. But coming back to. You said you grew up in Boston. What was that like?
Boston, very cold in the winters, very hot in the summers.
Mm.
So I come from, my family's all from Southie. Um, my great grandmother lives on like Silver Street, and I have family in the D Street projects, and then I was on the other side. But I moved out of the projects when I was probably six or seven, and we moved to Quincy. It was cool. I mean, there was a lot of kids on the street. It was actually a lot of, yeah, there was a good, like it seemed like a lot of the houses had kids. So there's a lot of like that stereotypical 90s, like everyone's on the street, like playing games and like like if you fall and cut yourself, like parents like, oh, rub some dirt in it or whatever, you know what I mean? So,
Was
but
there
it
a
was
music
cool,
scene down there?
Not so much that I knew of. Maybe there was, but it just was older than me because I was only in Boston till I was 13 years old.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there are, but I'm not sure.
So,
but anyways, yeah, it was cool. Very interesting people. Still keep touch with a lot of them. Cold in the winters, putting plastic on the windows, walking to school in the snow. I was like taking the public bus to school like in like fifth grade was the first year. No, sixth grade. Fifth year was the last year you could take the school bus. But hot in the summer. But good times, bad times, a little bit of everything.
So when you moved down to Cali, is that when you started doing music, or?
I wrote before that. I wrote like when I was like 9 years old. That was the first time I put pen to paper and wrote like a rhyme or like there was, I think one to this day I still like think about. It's a lyric I wrote when I was like 9 years old. And it's like, people say they love the sun, but walk around in disarray. Like just a sun ray, So that was like one of the first lyrics I ever came up with. But yeah, when I came to California, that's when I started playing guitar, and I started opening my eyes to some other music also, because before that I was like, rap's where it's at. I don't like any of the other music. I don't connect to it. But I started playing guitar and listening to stuff that was a little less aggressive, I guess, and some classic rock, Led Zeppelin, some like Jack Johnson, beachy kind of stuff, learning guitar.
But that was in college, right? The guitar thing, or was that like even further back?
Guitar was right when I moved to California.
Okay.
That was when that began. So that was like when I was almost 13. So I don't know if I got the guitar before or after I was 13, but I moved there like a few months before I turned 13.
Okay. And before this, we were actually trying to film the video portion of this, and my internet sucks. So before this, he actually told me about playing the piano. Was that before the guitar as well, or?
So I guess piano was kind of, so how my family goes. So my father was in California. So before I came here to live in California, I visited him, I think one time for like a month, once or twice, something like that, like in the summer for a month. And my stepsister, his ex-wife's now daughter, played piano. They were paying for lessons for her. And so I kind of learned in just a month while I was there. Like I played a little piano because they had learned some stuff. So I kind of learned it from my sisters. And then it wasn't until I moved to California officially, like, I think it was 3 years process. And anyways, once I came to California, that's when I started playing guitar.
Nice. And so how did that like lead you into becoming a rapper? Like what inspired that? Like where was that start?
Yeah, so I started, like I said, I think I wrote my first lyric when I was 9, but I also can vividly remember that year of like, that's when I started like listening to music on my own and not just passively, like in the car because we're driving somewhere. So I listened to a lot of like the late 90s era hip hop and rap at that time. So it was like Eminem, Snoop, Dre, Ice Cube, Eazy-E, Ghostface Killah, CD, 50 Cent. So I listened to a lot of that. And then I started playing guitar. And I kind of stopped listening to that music for a couple years, but I always had it there.
Mm-hmm.
But then I kind of try to blend them together. So now I like play guitar and am more musically inclined for like the music part. And then also still have that background of like lyrics and flow and cadences and rap and hip hop and that culture.
Nice. Have you ever listened to Fusion? I'm just curious.
Fusion? No, I'm not sure. I'll have to now if you mentioned.
Yeah, cause like right now I'm learning, I'm taking a class on just like music history. It's like about funk, hip hop, and jazz, and it kind of reminds me of like what you're talking about, cause fusion is basically like jazz mixed with like funk and like Caribbean rhythms and stuff like that. I think you might enjoy that. You should probably check it out.
I will. I'll check it out probably tonight after this. Thank you for the recommendation. I'm always like looking for new music. So
yeah, I think it's pretty important to that's what I like about you. Like you're open to, like rock and just like different genres other than hip hop. Like, but we love hip hop, of course, but it's good to like have a foundation of where it all started from all these other, genres.
Yeah, I really like the aspect of creativity with music and like kind of abandoning the idea of I do this like genre.
Uh-huh.
There's benefits to both, you know what I mean? It just depends on what the listener wants to hear at that moment. But
yeah,
I like the creative process, and I like being a little bit more experimental with the sound.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So do you consider yourself an independent artist?
I do consider myself an independent artist for sure, 100%.
Nice. So how would you define that for people who don't know what that even means,
An independent artist is an artist who is, ground up, building their own legacy, not looking for like a label to sign them or, using the big promotion money or whatever that you get with that, and rather creating your own market, your own brand, your own niche, and creating your own music and kind of doing it yourself rather than waiting for like a handout or not necessarily a handout, but looking for another entity to raise you up. It's more so raising yourself up.
Yeah, could have said it better.
Okay, cool.
That's really, yeah. You passed the test. A+, no.
Cool.
No, but so like all your previous projects, like go ahead and let everyone know like how many projects you have, and we'll start from there. We'll pick your brain.
So cool. So as far as my actual projects that I've released as collections, I have 3. So I have the first one when I was still going by Blue from Trip Red and Blue. And that was It's Just Music, Bitch. And that kind of is just what it is, because I knew it wasn't going to be that, it wasn't that quality. I didn't know how to like mix anything. I still am learning, So it's like, if anyone, I knew they're going to hear it and be like, oh, you need to fix this or this or this. I wasn't at the extent. But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's just music, bitch. Like, just let me like create, you know what I mean? So, I made that in Southside San Jose. And that was like, and I had a walk-in closet at that time. I was sharing a room with a girlfriend that I was dating, and we had a big walk-in closet. We were splitting the rent of a master bedroom in a house with a bunch of other roommates. And, I used a lot of like Foley sounds, like direct percussion. So it wasn't like a set BPM or anything. It was very loose. And I didn't fix it to be like necessarily in time. I kind of just played all the instruments live. So there was a lot of guitar in there that I did. And even like the percussion, a lot of times it's just sounds from my room. For example, like a lighter on a grinder for a percussion instrument. So I was really at that time experimenting with just like raw sounds of what in my room can I make a song out of. So that was like kind of what that was. Then I started recording Project Mayhem. That would have been, so I finished that project. I went to South America for about 6 months. And then I came back and then started on my next project after that, or after some time had passed, which I started when I actually went to Asia after leaving San Jose again. So that's the one I traveled with. I was backpacking through Southeast Asia. And I brought like my computer, a small MIDI controller, and just my mic and the cables. And I had them just thrown into my backpacker's backpack, and I recorded like hostels, guest houses, farms, like everywhere I was. Pretty much on the weekly basis at that point, I was trying to like create something. So I actually released a lot of that raw the stuff I recorded while I was on the road.
Yeah.
But then I just kept it. I put it up because it I don't know, for some reason it encourages me to continue if I have something to show for it. But then I came back to San Jose, and I figured I had a lot of sounds, but I was still like collecting them and still making more and still learning. Mm-hmm. So it took like another year or so, but then I released Project Mayhem, which most of the beats and I produced. Obviously, I wrote the lyrics, performed the lyrics, but there were a few beats that I did get from other producers too, just licensed them. And then I had that was a couple of years back now, or 1 year actually, or maybe like a year and a half, I guess, at this point. But after I like it a lot. It's an interesting album. It's the first one I kind of feel like I'm getting there. I don't know. But now I listen to it, like some of them I still really like, and some of them I skip over at this point. But that's me. I'm critical. I'm super critical of myself.
No, I'm the same way. Well, I get bored really fast, especially with some of like, because I mix my own shit too, so I get what you mean where you're just like, just skip it. I've heard that song so many times, I don't want to hear it.
Exactly. It is over and over. But yeah, I put that out. That was pretty cool. I had some features in there. And then it was just the latest project, Rain, REIGN, which 1 a.m. is featured on. Mm-hmm. Can't Stop Now. You guys check out that track. But yeah, that project's pretty cool. It's a little shorter. The Project Mayhem was 17 tracks. This one was 14, including an intro and an outro. And yeah, I got you on there. You're dope. Your verse is super dope. I think I've told you a bunch of times, but that was super cool. I think it super worked. I got my friend Ja Did, probably doing the best verse. I was telling him, I'm like, yo, your verse was the best thing that happened on the whole album.
Nice.
So his is really cool. Ja Did, a really good friend of mine, family pretty much considered. And then another friend, E. Burgundy, is also featured on there, a few bars on the outro track, Rabid Rap Shit. But that one, I didn't really produce the beats. I produced the composition and then added stuff from there. Almost, except for maybe 1 or 2 tracks, like Downfall, that was made with my friend Ghost Buffalo. But we made that together. Yeah, Dennis right here, who you know.
Hey. I'm just curious, like that's pretty crazy. Like when you were in South America, I mean, were you like exposed to their music as well?
Oh, definitely. There's like there's always street performers and stuff like that, like percussionists. Like I remember in Buenos Aires. It was like when I started that 6-month trip, that was the first city I landed in before I crossed the Rio de Plata and went to Uruguay. Yeah. But they had I still have this video, just like a band just playing on the corner of the street, and a huge crowd, like they're just there. They just like set up and like just those rhythms, and then just dancing with the people in Tequila and the island there. like Titicaca in Peru.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely music's there. I mean, I play guitar with people all along, whether or not they're like from that country or traveling also. So I've had a lot of influences from pretty much the entire everywhere, the whole world.
Yeah.
I probably met someone from everywhere now.
It's
Which is pretty
interesting, like,
cool.
looking at different cultures and, like, the way that it's like their food, right? You know, like, music is, like, I don't know, it's just, like, so different with different cultures, like, I don't know, can you think of anything that stuck out to you that's, like, different from, music culture in the United States, like
I mean, the cultural music is definitely way different, but it's funny because a lot of people from different countries, you won't realize it, but they speak some English because Hollywood and American culture is so prevalent everywhere you go.
also the
Like, so
British.
people know some. Well, just America too. That just
Yeah.
but British first, because they, you know what I mean. So I mean, we're all, and I guess we're all come from everywhere, but yeah, the culture. So a lot of people can know a little bit of English. I mean, maybe they can't have a conversation with you,
Yeah.
but because they've heard you'll turn on their radio, and a lot of times you'll hear like American music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
Ricky Martin comes on or something like. But difference, yeah, there's a lot of really unique instruments. Like, for example, in Laos, there's like the Ken. It's like this flute, a traditional flute. And also just different ways of singing. And also, I mean, just the music of from one country to the next or one city to the next in South America, where they have all the different kinds of dialects.
Yeah.
And how it will like make the sound different, like whether you're going to say kaye, kaje, or kashe, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, you know, how you pronounce that double L. Yeah, it plays a part in the sound.
Yeah, I remember, I don't know what the instrument was called, but you had brought it to, I think it was like the farm show. It was like that bell looking thing.
Yeah, the Gouda drum. I have that in
Yeah.
the other room. That's apparently it's Ukrainian,
Oh.
but kind of funny story how I found that.
Mm-hmm.
It was when I was in Thailand on a farm picking peanuts with the monk. There's this British girl there, and she had it, and like we would have a fire every night because we don't have electricity.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cold in the nighttime actually on the hills in Thailand. And she pulled it out one night at the fire. So like the monk first, he told us a story about the story of the human life, and then she just pulled it out. It's just like, it was not like a warning, like, oh hey, Minu is gonna play the Gouda drum tonight. She just pulled it out, and I saw it. I was like, what is that? That thing looks so crazy. Is it a shield? Like, what is it? What's going to happen? And then she started like playing it, and I was like, what is that? And then everyone started like grabbing at it kind of. She's like, no, like after, eventually, once she was done playing and we had the free time, we're just talking about the instrument.
Yeah.
People were trying to like see it. And I was just like staying back, but like in awe of this instrument. And eventually, I think she noticed that, or she noticed I wasn't being like an asshole or nothing, or like being respectful.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, did you want to play it?" And she like handed it to me, and I started playing it. She's like, "Whoa, how are you like forming chords already?" Everyone's like, "This is the first time you've ever played this instrument?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "No way." I was like, I mean, the instrument's actually, it's pretty easy to play. It's all in a scale and key, but
yeah, I remember you
nonetheless,
showing me.
it was magical. Yeah, it was pretty magical at the fire there in Thailand.
Have you ever recorded that in any of your songs?
I've recorded it a little bit, but I think there's been a one or two that I put on Instagram. I put the audio and I overlaid it with a picture of like the drum.
Oh, okay.
But actually, I need to figure out how to mix it better, how to really make it pop more.
Mm-hmm. You could probably get like an instrument mic, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I've done a little bit.
I was gonna say too, cause for my class I had to like look up certain plugins to like write about, and I actually found a plugin that drum it's the plugin, and it's cool because like I didn't know, but a lot of people use it for like trap beats, but they just like pitch it and make it sound different. But so that's just kind of like an idea to throw out there. Just but you have like the real drums, so like, you know, you can get the like legit nice sound, like acoustics and all that, all the tones and stuff.
Yeah, I got sent. I don't know if you've seen it, but I got these two like drumsticks that are like they're sewed over like balls at the end,
Mm-hmm.
so they're really soft, but you can strike it like a drumstick, so that like kind of amplifies the sound even better too. So
That's hella cool.
yeah, it's pretty nice because you don't have to like just use your fingertip. You can get a little bit more resonance and a little bit more of a pure sound because it like strikes at a like very specific point, and you don't have to like flick your finger. I don't know if you remember, but you have to like, so you can't just press down. You gotta have to
Yeah.
like flick it. You have to actually vibrate the steel tongue drum.
Yeah, there's just it's cool though because there's a different feeling and like a different, I think, like connection that you get when you're able to physically like play an instrument and like implement that into your songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I always prefer that if possible.
Yeah. What would you recommend like if someone wanted to start playing an instrument? Because you play like piano, guitar, and you know the drums and stuff like that. So I'm just curious on like if you had like a, I don't know, like if someone wanted to play an instrument, what would you think would be a good starting point?
I think keyboard is a good starting point.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because like guitar is a little like it's not laid out that easily. Like piano, all the keys are right there and they go in order. Whereas the strings are tuned to different things, so they start at different notes, so it's all scrambled. So it's like kind of overwhelming a little bit, maybe. I think keyboard is a great place to start for sure.
Yeah, dude, I agree. Cause um, I think if you learn how to play the piano, that can translate, and you can pretty much play like any instrument. Like that's what I've been told, that you can, if you master the piano, you can transition that to like other instruments.
Yeah, the concepts are the same if you can just reapply it. But you know, I guess it depends on like what your comfort is too. Like for me, guitar sometimes like messes up my wrist or something. You know.
Yeah, or you get those little
Um,
calluses on your finger.
Yeah, but yeah, if you haven't played in a while or whatever, or you're just starting out, that's definitely a deterrent. Like I've tried to like teach people before, and then they're like, "Oh, like my fingers hurt now. I'm done."
I know,
That's
especially
okay.
if you're playing like a steel string.
Yeah,
That hurts, like especially when if you haven't built your calluses up. I know I gotta like get back into that because I was playing it the other day and now I'm feeling it.
yeah.
It's a trip too because so yesterday I was putting together like kind of like a presentation for the school thing I'm gonna be doing. Like I'm gonna be a speaker for students. But I was like trying to like go back in time and like break down of like all the instruments that I've like done. And like, so I started with trumpet, right? In elementary
Really?
school.
That was your
Yeah.
very first?
My
That's
very
awesome.
first. And then it was actually the cornet, which is like the shorter trumpet.
Okay.
And then I did choir. And then I didn't, I kind of wish like I stuck with it, you know? Like I think I would be like so much like, at least in music theory and shit like that. Cause like after that, I went to band. I did the drums. I did guitar, and then I went back to choir again. But it's kind of just crazy, like thinking back to like how early on as like young kids we were introduced to that. But like if that's your passion, I would just like encourage everyone to like stick with it, because like when you're an adult and you're trying to like learn how to play the damn piano or something, it's kind of like irritating, you know?
Right. Yeah. The earlier, the better. And
Yeah.
it's not hard. Just, I mean, if it calls to you, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? If
yeah,
that's what you
exactly.
want to do, you can only do it if you want to do it, because otherwise it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Um,
But it definitely helps with production, like, you know, like
yeah,
when you're making
absolutely.
beats, you know what I mean? You record, you know, your different sounds and you're able to like manipulate them and make them sound unique, but it's because you have that background in music, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. helps. And I mean, a keyboard is cheap too. So if people like, I don't know, a lot of people think like you need a whole bunch of equipment or something like that, or you can't spend that on it. Just like kind of start, anywhere, and you can just, it doesn't have to be. Like, I remember I got like a $20 guitar or keyboard one time, and it worked. It worked fine ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just going, cause I like to go thrift shopping, so I'll see like those old school, those fat ass like keyboards, and I'm just like, ooh, well, but I got like a shit ton of keyboards, so I'm just like, nope. But there's definitely like a lot of options, and then you got eBay, and you know what I mean, like. But yeah, at the same time, like what you said, if you're interested in it, I definitely want to encourage people to like learn how to play an instrument, at least one. Like me and Angel were talking about that too, like do more than just rap, or you know what I mean, like do more than just like one thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even if it's like start on the ukulele or something, learn some chords on that, or you know what I mean, because that's like a little bit easier. The neck's a little smaller. Like that. I mean, even if you record like percussion, if you're into drums, like you can get like pots and pans, like just do something. A lot of people don't like they're musical. Like I know like two people I know I see them every day. They have really good singing voices, but they don't record, or they don't. I don't know what's stopping them or whatever, but they don't choose to pursue the music side of things, even though I think they want to, because I mean they're shy to sing. But then when they're the ones saying they're going to do it, not me. I'm not like, yo, sing. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, I don't know. That's another thing. A lot of people are shy about their music, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
So they don't want to share it, or they're worried they're going to mess up, or whatever it is. It's like nerve-wracking for them.
Yeah, I was like that too when I started. I started making beats. Like I think that was like the first thing I started actually doing. Like I would write, but I was too afraid to like speak and like say it and put it to a beat. And then when I did start rapping, it was actually to other people's beats. I was kind of insecure about rapping over my own beats. And then I eventually evolved into just doing everything myself and just being like, fuck what other people think, who cares? Like, I'm just gonna do me. And I think it's important for people to get to that point, like, do the music for you. Like, if you want to just be creative, just do it for you. Have fun, express yourself, and don't worry about what other people have to say, because regardless of how dope you are, how awesome you are, there's always going to be somebody like negative about it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't please everyone, so that shouldn't be the goal,
Yeah. Speaking of 1 a.m. beats, we're just listening to your house beat tape.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
What do you think about it? I haven't gotten any feedback.
Cool. It's cool. I like it. It's it's house, so it's I was doing the whole like fist in the hand, bump in the hand with it. It was pretty cool. We listened to, what is it, the August, what's the beat tape, August Rising or something like that?
Oh yeah, August Rise.
Yeah, that one song I really like. Keep something. Shoot, it's like the second one. Keep believing.
Maybe, I don't know.
Shoot, anyways, yeah, we were just checking that out. So yeah, your stuff's super dope. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
That's what's up. Thank you. Yeah. Before taking this course in school about like just music background, I didn't like house music and I didn't like techno, and I thought it was whack, to be honest. Thought it was just like too much energy, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
After like learning about its influence on like hip hop and stuff, it like changed my mind. And then like I started like listening to like how house was made with like from disco and all that stuff, and it just kind of made me like, damn, this is cool, like,
I mean, it's all an evolution, right? It's just the roots of music. It just keeps turning into other stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, like I'm pushing this message in everyone's ears because I feel like everyone just ignores it. It's like, learn your roots, learn the background of certain genres, because I know a lot of people are like, just Especially in the hip hop community, a lot of people are just like, I just want to listen to rap. I don't care about all this other, you know what I mean? But it's crazy because it draws so much influence from funk and like jazz, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just curious too, like this is kind of a little away from topic of what we're talking about, but you had talked about being in a rap group called Trip Red and Blue, right?
Yes, correct.
So tell us about that. What was that experience like?
Trip Red and Blue was my introduction to recording music, namely rap. It was me and my friend at the time. His name was Marcus, Trip Red, and I was Blue. And at that time we were like living that lifestyle, just like drinking 40s and playing Mario Kart. And Mario Kart Double Dash, that's my game right there. So we played that one a lot on GameCube. And at that particular summer and that particular time, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, it comes from that. Like I was always winning, but I was always getting blown up by the blue shell that comes in, like knocks out whoever's in first place. And then he was the turtle people. He was always playing as them, and he had the triple red shells. So he would shoot me with the triple red shells. So it was like Trip Red and Blue. And he basically showed me everything that I knew at the time, because it started at zero from not knowing how to record, because he had at the time made some sort of CD for a girlfriend that he was dating or something. And then one day he was like, oh, do you want to like make some rap? Because he's a metalhead he's been in like thrash bands and stuff. He's a really good guitarist.
Okay.
But he was like, yo, I know you. He knew I liked rap. Yeah, I played it at the house, obviously. He's like, yo, you want to make a rap song? So we made it. The first song was called Jar of Hearts or something like that. It was a throw off of the song Jar of Hearts, because we sampled the Christina Perri song.
Okay.
And it came out, it was crazy. It was like so aggressive and like, but it came out really cool. And so we're like, yo, let's like make an EP. So we're thinking, we had like 7 to 8 songs that we were working on. One was released. If you look up like Trip Red and Blue, Get a Grip on YouTube, you'll see it from way back in the day. But we made a few other songs, like Train Tracks was like supposed to be our like college party song. And some other like more spoken word, like loose, trippy stuff. But it was actually cool because one time we like crashed some party that was happening on like nearby street, and we like hijacked without anyone noticing the like aux cord.
Oh yeah.
And we plugged in our 3 songs and replayed them over and over and over. And like it took like 40 minutes or an hour before like someone was like, yo, I think I've heard this song like 2 times already. We're like, yo, that song is played like 20 times already. But then so they caught us, and then we disconnected it. But yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we never released it. We ended up going he moved somewhere else. Our paths went in opposite directions, and also his hard drive on his first computer that we were using was lost. So we had exported, partially done, half to 2/3 completed songs exported, but we didn't have the raw like individual files anymore.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the drum, the vocal, the da-da-da in the project. We just had to export it. So I still have them. I listen to them sometimes, but they're like not quite finished. I would have to I could probably input them into the computer and manipulate it and be able to extend it and do it, but it's kind of lost in time at this point.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know what that's like. The hard drive crashing. That was before I learned to have like 3 copies of everything that you do stashed away.
Yeah, I know. This would have been like 2012 or 13.
That's pretty cool though.
So.
Like, I mean, that's kind of like similar to like, I can relate because I didn't know how to really record myself until I met someone and they helped me like make my first mixtape, like legit, like with a microphone, not on an iPod, you know? So, I mean, that's pretty cool. And then at least you guys have that, at least one project up, right? You said on like YouTube.
Yeah, the one track, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool though. But so like, Coming from, like, for sure, I know, like, coming from a group, was there anything that you've learned or like a lesson that you can take away from that you'd like to share, like working in a group, like that's different, you know?
Yeah, just let loose and like let your creative side like be shown. Like don't be afraid to like try something. You know what I mean? When the thought comes, because even if that idea doesn't work, like it might inspire another thought from someone else that wouldn't have happened otherwise. That makes a totally different track or something like that. So I mean, trying to be as comfortable as you can. I know sometimes it's difficult if like you don't know the people that well or something, or maybe you've never been in a studio or recorded before in the past. But yeah, just try to be comfortable and enjoy the time, enjoy the space, and try to let loose with creativity.
Yeah, definitely. What about like working with another person too? Like, because I'm pretty like sure a lot of people are used to just working alone, but when you start like collaborating with someone else, sometimes you can butt heads, you know?
Yeah, I think that's super helpful actually for me too. Sometimes, like even if it's just a word or something in one of my verses, he's like, "Oh no, you should have said that word. You should have emphasized this syllable like this," because he can hear it as a third party, whereas I'm just saying it and I think it's like correct.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember like there was one track particular that I remember this exact moment where it was supposed to be like psychopath, like it was supposed to be like that kind of vibe song. I say like the first lyric is like, I've been labeled a psychopath. Life again enables my wrath, capable of taking people soon to the faith as I'm going to illuminate my path. But instead of that, he was like, no, you should, instead of saying, it should be, I've been labeled a psychopath. Life again enables my wrath, capable of keeping people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The emphasis.
So just like, it's super nice to have a second ear on anything. Because sometimes, especially I'm like, does that sound right? Does that sound high enough? Does that sound low enough? And then usually other people, like, they're like, oh, yeah. So, and I remember even when my roommate was making music, he would ask me, and I'd be like, oh, no, I knew. Like, just a listener, sometimes you have more insight.
Yeah.
You don't know how to change it, but you know what is right and what is wrong. It's kind of funny. Sometimes you get too close to your art, too, and you're like, what am I listening to? What do I sound like?
Yeah, no, that's pretty important, and especially like being open to feedback, because sometimes it's easy to just be like, no, I don't want to hear like any of it, but sometimes constructive, especially if it's constructive feedback, it's always good to keep an open mind.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. It's good when you have a good dynamic and like you guys aren't afraid to like be honest. Don't be a dick, but like don't be not a dick. You know what I mean? Like kind of walk that line of like being very honest helps a lot with the process, because ultimately that's an ear and they have that opinion, so someone else is going to think the same thing potentially. So even if you don't take the advice that they give you, it's nice to hear it and take it sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Your music, I would consider it to be like, it's very different from a lot of other artists, and I think that's like the coolest thing, because like I hear like one of your tracks and I'm like, I know who that is, you know what I mean?
Oh, thanks. That's cool.
What would you say like to describe your music to people who haven't heard it? Like what kind of message do you give off? Like
I don't know. I like to emphasize creativity. Like I think I've said that a bunch of times, but from track to track, like for example, like I might on one track like be personifying greed, but then on the next one I'm telling a story, but then on the next one I'm focusing on like a rhyme. So there's just a lot of different vibes, and some of it's more like poetic style, but some of it is more just like classic rap.
Yeah.
So, but then I also will do something like a trap metal song, like the track Azazel on the last album, where it's just like a totally different thing that I've ever tried.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like you're definitely like, I'm telling you, like if you check out Fusion, I think you'll be able to appreciate it, because like you're talking about like experimenting and stuff like that, and that's pretty much what it is. So I'm like already categorizing you. I'm like, you're fusion hip hop.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check them out, because now you mentioned them twice or something. So
yeah, fusion is basically like, it's jazz, funk, a little R&B mixed with like Caribbean and like tropical, you know what I mean? Like those rhythms, like the different African rhythms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like a mix of that, but like all bundled together. And like an album I can think of off the top is called Bitches Brew. I don't know if you've ever heard that. I can't remember who
Bitches Brew?
yeah, Bitches Brew. That's probably
Miles Davis.
yeah, that's probably the first like real fusion album, I think. But yeah, I think as far as like experimenting with music, I think that one. But I don't think a lot of people will like it, you know, because it's like a certain type of music.
Got it.
It's different for sure. It's different, but you can hear the influences and stuff like that.
The sound just cut off. What the heck? Oh, this is a bad lane cooking here.
Are you pulling it up?
Yeah. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, Bitches Brew is like probably the first like well-known album of
I feel like
fusion.
I'm in like Cafe Straits or something. Okay, I got it. That's cool. I'll listen to that album too after this.
Yeah, it's different. It's probably not my go-to music, but it is different and cool to learn about. But as far as like experimenting,
Nice.
I'm curious, like I'm sorry, like you were talking about something and I totally like took you away from that.
No, that's all good. I don't even remember what we're saying.
I'm just curious because you like sampling stuff, right? Have you ever seen those videos of like people taking those like little Zoom recorders, getting the sounds and like tweaking them in Ableton Live and stuff like that? Have you ever tried that?
I used to record, like when I was traveling in Southeast Asia, I would use like my iPhone mic or something to record. But I always wanted to get some like sort of upgrade, like that kind of thing. I think that would be pretty cool. Something a little bit more quality.
Yeah, and then a lot of people
Have you?
use those Zoom recorders. Yeah, I actually have two different recorders. Like I have one always at my desk, so like if I have ideas or like a hook or something, I'll just like record it on that because I don't like using my phone all the time. Like it's distracting.
That's a good idea.
You
Actually, I
know?
knew that would be smart. Actually, a voice recorder. That would be really good.
Yeah, it's pretty a useful tool. I mean, like obviously yes, you could use your phone, but I don't trust myself with my phone because I'll be like Googling shit and going on Instagram and stuff like that, you know? So I think it's like a good tool to have in the studio for like non-distractive, like, you know, audio recording.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
If you ever go to like, I don't know, like probably the only place I can think of is Guitar Center, like that has these in store, but they have those little field recorders like the Zoom H4n. I just bought a H2n, which is what I've been recording all those little videos that I've been posting on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my mobile studio setup.
Got it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you're in the car rapping and stuff.
But yeah, like just
You're
like
the beat
those.
too, right?
Yeah, like those little like recorders come in handy. So like next time you travel, I definitely recommend like one of those because you could like the H2n is like a microphone one, and then the H4n you could actually plug in like a legit microphone, like you know a condenser mic or anything like that, and you can record songs on the go too. You know.
Yeah, that's definitely something I need to invest in for sure.
Yeah, definitely. This this podcast or whatever is not sponsored by Zoom, but it would be nice. Just throwing that out there. I already have like 3 products of them.
Just send them hit them up.
I think I probably have to have like millions of listeners in order to even get considered, but whatever.
Yeah, it depends. You never know. It depends on who's sitting in that chair if it picks up that phone.
But yeah, dude, I think that would be really cool for you to like experiment with, and I think you'd probably have a lot more fun than just recording it on your phone, you know, but you'd probably get like a better audio quality recording it from like one of those. Yeah, like it's pretty fun. Like I've seen people make beat packs out of those, you know, just recording like everyday sounds just like you said.
Yeah, that's cool. and you just program them in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be really fun. That's like how I started making music and stuff. Like I was saying, like just recording it into a microphone.
Yeah.
But using one of those is like the next level. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
I think I would enjoy it.
What's cool too is like when you're doing that, you're like exercising your imagination because, you know what I mean? Like you're taking a sound like, I don't know, a clock ticking, and then you're transforming it into like a drum, you know, that you can use.
Yeah, I need to get that though. That'd be super dope. Yeah, I need to use my stimulus. Actually, I need to buy speakers though too. But yeah, that's something that would be super fun. I want to play with that for sure.
Yeah.
I need to go to Guitar Center like this weekend. I need to go check out what they got.
I heard that they're going out of business, but I don't know if that's true.
You know, Fry's went out of business.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, that's where I got those batteries and stuff.
Yeah, I really enjoy this little battery that you traded me.
I'm glad it works because I was worried. I'm like, oh, she thinks I like give her fucked up. Like
No. But I was just like, the charging thing is weird.
That's interesting. I wonder why.
For people who don't know, we're talking about a external battery that I traded him an interface for an external battery. How's that interface treating you? You still have it?
Actually, I tried to recently plug it in and I couldn't. It turns on. Maybe you can help me out. Maybe you know what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
And then I plugged the mic into the import, but then I don't get any sound.
Do you have phantom power turned on?
The button.
The red button.
So here's the question also. Is this one you plug into the wall?
No, that one is straight to your computer.
So phantom power would be which one?
The 48 volt.
48. I did press all the buttons, but I will.
Because condenser mics need 48 volt phantom. That's like the standard. But yeah, after this, I can help troubleshoot it for you if you need.
Cool.
But yeah, I was using it for like my phone and like because I know how to plug it into the phone and like record and stuff because I'm lazy. I don't want to turn on my computer all the time.
Yeah.
Also, like super random, but because you like to travel a lot, and I know it's kind of a bitch to like bring all your studio shit. So just throwing it out there, I recently. So I told you about getting locked out of Pro Tools, right? Yeah. So I actually bought Cubase Pro like a while back, and I totally like forgot about that program. So I started using it again, and I actually learned that they have an app on the phone that is a mobile studio, and that's also what I've been recording those videos with. It's a little DAW in your phone, and you can like load the beat in, or you can even make beats in it and like record shit. So yeah, like that's a straight mobile setup. Like all I bring is my phone, and then I have the little connector to connect that Zoom mic into it, and then I have my little headphones, and that's it. That's all I need. That's
really cool to be able to like make music on the go.
Yeah, and you can if you get one of those little hubs for your phone, you can even plug in a MIDI controller and play and record and do all that shit at the same time.
Yeah, wow, the possibilities these days, crazy. The phone, that's something that has the cell phone changed the world. That was so crazy.
Yeah,
when I was in,
for better Thailand, and for worse.
Like the monks on like cell phones or whatever. Like the monks like having Facebook or whatever.
For better or for worse, but yeah, I just learned that. So like, for sure, if you guys are looking for a mobile setup, I think for me it's working, and I haven't quite like made a beat that I like in the software because I don't have like all my plugins and stuff like that. But you know, like you can plug in your guitar and you can just start manipulating sounds and like, you know what I mean? Like there's so much possibilities you could do.
Cool. Yeah, that's another thing. You're giving me so many good ideas.
Good, I'm glad. I have all these ideas and I'm just like holding them in the vault.
Bottled up, huh?
Yeah, but it's cool to like share them. So I'm curious, like tell me a little bit about your like working process, like when you're starting music. Are you thinking about like melodies and stuff in your head, or you think about words, or like what comes first for you?
It happens really organically, so everyone can be completely different. Sometimes I'll think of a lyric first,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll be trying to make a beat or find a beat that fits with. Or a lot of times I'll hear the beat first, and sometimes I think of like a melody or like a flow or a cadence right away.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll just be like, okay, next one, till like one, like I feel it,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I start from scratch with like a drum beat, with like a program, maybe keyboard or something, and do that, build it up, and then do it. So it comes from a lot of different ways. Sometimes I come up with a concept first and then start.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of, it depends. I like to switch it up. Sometimes I'll like just ask someone, like, give me a topic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or give me a word or something, like, and just let like something, an external force dictate the beginning, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's pretty
So
dope.
kind of, all different ways. How do you, what's your process like? Is it like that too, or is it kind of do you have a certain way you like to do it?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same, where it's kind of open. Like sometimes it'll be just like an inspiration from like an experience that I did, like, went through, or just kind of like thinking about stuff and actually like planning out songs, Like sometimes with my beats, it's just like I just sit and let everything happen the way it's gonna happen. So like sometimes I'll make like some stupid beat, but you know what I mean? I just let it flow.
Sometimes the stupid ones are like the best ones though too, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of the same with me. Like I'm kind of open about it. Or like I said with the voice recorder thing, I'll think of stuff in my head and then I'll just write it down, or I'll spit it out loud and just record it, and then I'll come back to it later and like implement it into a song or something.
Yeah.
Like Wait, that song I did with J. King, that was actually just an idea. Like I was just like in my car, waiting in my car, and I was like, I ain't trying to wait. Like I was just like making up shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's an example. So I'm kind of the same like with you.
Yeah, exactly. Inspiration can hit at any time.
Exactly.
Who says that? I think that's a Logic quote, actually. Inspiration can happen at any time. Well, I mean, a bunch of people have said it, obviously.
I think he quoted somebody. Didn't he quote somebody else?
Yeah. I mean, inspiration can hit at any time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Has been said by many people throughout the years.
No,
Sometimes
but I know what song that's from, though.
Recorded. Yeah, which one is it from? Do you know the name of it?
That's from that one with the horns.
Another rhyme. Is it Hit My Line? No, what is it?
I know what song you're talking about.
It's from that album.
Are you're a Logic fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
I especially like that last. I like that last album.
You tell me why you like Logic, because last interview I was talking to Angel, and Angel was like, I hate Logic, and I was like, okay, go ahead and talk your shit, but it's what he was saying was like he just hates that he's corny. But then I told him, I was like, okay, well, I talk about positive shit, and sometimes I'm kind of insecure because I think I'm corny sometimes,
Right. That's the thing. When you go positive, you can't go too positive.
Yeah.
I don't think his sounds too. I don't think it sounds corny necessarily. Maybe it's because he I don't know, white guy glasses, looks like a little like I don't know, nerdy or something.
Yeah.
That you could say that he doesn't fit like the aesthetic.
That song is Man I Is. I'm happy the man I is.
And I'm happy the man I is. And I'm happy the man I become.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, I think it's cool. I think his like flow is super clean, and really,
I just love that he's himself. He's not trying to beat anyone but himself, and I think that's like super respectable. But I don't know why so many people hate him. Just like, damn, calm down. You don't gotta listen to him if you don't want to.
I guess just like the Logic persona, ultimately, for some people, that they don't connect with him probably. So even though he's himself, that's probably working against him in that way to those people, because they don't, like, they're like, oh, this isn't my kind of people. I wouldn't kick it with this person. Or I don't know. That's them being judgmental anyways, but.
It's because so I had asked Angel. He's gonna listen to this. Hi, Angel. I asked him, and he told me it's because it's corny, okay? So when we were talking about my music, he said it's because he's like, I know you, and he's like, you're coming from your experience, and you're talking about, what you've been through, and you're flipping it and making it positive. But I'm like thinking, I didn't get to really like talk about it because I didn't want to argue with him, but I'm just thinking like Logic does the same thing. Like he's talking about his life and where he's at now, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, if Angel is like a battle rapper and like, you know what I mean, trying to do that style.
Yeah, that's true.
I could see why he would think Logic is soft compared to other people that have that more aggressive vibe.
Yeah.
So I could see why it might not be for that kind of person.
How would you like avoid being corny, like in your raps? Like
sometimes it's hard, like, sometimes like I'll hear it and I'm like, okay, that's corny. I'm just like, let's throw that away. But sometimes it's like one line, like, especially in my older stuff, yeah. I would remember like, there's one line I think sounds corny, but I think the rest of the track is cool. So like I'll show it to someone, and then when that part comes, I'll be like, start talking, you know what I mean? Or like ask a question. But I think corniness can be good too, because it can be good too.
Yeah, it's playful. Effect. I mean, yeah. I think there's room for it. It's not, I don't think it should be something that everyone should go and do, but it's it's not, I don't think it's enough to condemn someone.
Yeah, no, I think he's cool. I think Logic's stuff is pretty cool. I'm a later Logic fan. In the beginning, I was kind of the same. I was hesitant. I was like, Logic, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the more I heard him and the more I heard his flow, I don't know. I think it sounds really clean and like well done. Like just how he hits the beat so well, and speeds up and slows down like effortlessly. I was introduced to him by a friend of mine a few years ago. I didn't even know who he was.
Okay.
And she showed me the 1-800 suicide song. A lot of people know that song. So she showed me that, and I thought that was cool. But I didn't really get into Logic until the last year or two. So I'm kind of a new listener where where I can start to kind of name his works and like rap some of his lyrics when his stuff's on.
Okay. Who would you say is your 5 top like influencers that made you the artist that you are?
Hip hop.
Any genre, actually.
Any genre. Oh, that's gonna be hard then. Wow.
The Narnia door has been opened.
Yeah, seriously. Top 5 is always so hard, even if you're just doing like rappers or whatever, because there's so much talent.
Yeah, but I mean, like, people that artists that you've listened to that, like, influence you to be the artist that you are. Like, for me, Missy Elliott, Eminem, those were my first 2. Lauryn Hill, Paramore, Revolution for sure. Like, those are all artists that I grew up listening to, like, in high school when I started making music, and that, like, gave me a good wide range,
Yeah, I mean, okay, coming up, the first music or CDs I had, I remember I had, I think, like 3 Eminem CDs, the Get Rich or Die Trying album. I had an album by Ghostface Killah, and I had, what else? What was the other CDs? Oh, I had The Chronic by Dre.
Hey.
And then I had some mix. There was just like mixed, jumbled, like burned CDs. But those were like I would like walk to school every day, starting in 5th grade or whatever. Yeah. Or no, sorry, 6th grade, right? And I would have my Walkman, and those are the 5 CDs I would like go through, kind of thing. But there's so many influences. Like beyond that, there's obviously NWA, Eazy-E, MC Ren, Ice Cube, Eazy-E.
You said it.
So
you said like so many twice.
Yeah, I know. I thought you weren't going to notice that. I noticed that after.
No, I love Eazy too. Are you currently working on anything right now?
I have 2 projects. one bigger, one smaller. One I was mentioning it to you, but I think it might have been in one of the times that we didn't get recorded.
Yeah.
But there's one track. I'm trying to release it on March 17th. It's the anniversary of the passing of someone I was close to when I was young. We grew up together as kids, and she passed away last year. So I'm trying to do a song commemorating Devin, which is her name.
Oh, okay. Sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, she has a son and whatnot, but luckily they have things pretty tied down. They got it, like people watching them and whatnot. But anyway, so I'm working on that. It's going to be kind of a sad song, but I'm going to try to do it. Sometimes I hate doing that kind of shit, or like being personal with music. But I recorded it like last year. I almost put it on the Rain album, but I decided not to.
Oh, okay.
Because like the album wasn't very personal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I took it out.
Could have changed the dynamic though.
True. I had it on it when I had my first mix. I think even I had John Hodges in the truck with me, and I was showing him like what I was like working on at that time. I was on it, along with like one or two other tracks too that I took off eventually. But I'm gonna revisit this, and I mean I have a verse like and a half written already and recorded. Okay. So I just want to extend it and possibly get like a little bit of like someone else maybe just sing some vocals or something like that. So I'm just seeing what potential I have. And then outside of that, I'm working on my third album. It's just it's kind of early stages.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's going to take a little bit of time.
But that's coming out this year as well, right?
I'd say like late this year is pretty realistic.
Okay.
But we'll see how things go. Maybe sooner. I don't know. Now that I'm situated in the new studio, have the space. Because I took a little break in the last few weeks too, just because I was dealing with that. But I want to like get back into it, start planning more, getting to the stage where I'm like going through old verses that I've written, deciding what I want to put in, if I want to add anything to them. You know the process.
Yeah. I kind of enjoy that early process too, a little bit.
I do actually. I like it better than the late process.
Yes, exactly. You just said what I was gonna say.
The late process, it's like, oh my god, is it done or is it not done? Like, do I need to tweak the reverb? Do I need to like delay that?
The mixing process is a headache.
Exactly. It's like, oh god. It's like a big headache.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you just do whatever. It's like a blank slate.
Yeah, exactly. But it's definitely cool to hear everything come together, and I'm pretty excited to hear that. So, definitely looking forward to your drop on the 17th.
Definitely, yeah. I'm gonna be working on it this weekend, pretty diligently. Setting aside a good amount of time to work on that.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, but I recently spoke with like a family member back there that knows her very directly. And I had told this person about the track, and she started like talking about it because she knows the son of the person who passed, Devin's son, Elijah.
Yeah.
So she was talking about her because she's kind of taking care of her a little bit, or taking care of him a little bit. And like, she kind of started like crying a little bit, and she was like, whatever happened to the song that you had mentioned? And I was like, oh, that's right. I was thinking about that too, because it's coming up like on the 17th to do something. And like, it was kind of supported by that person. So that kind of gave me more of a green light to do it. Because at the same time where I'm like, do I want to be personal or not? It's also like, do I want to be personable about this person who has other people connected to them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, she was like, oh, you should contact, because she has sisters and stuff. Like I grew up also with her other sister. So she was like, oh, you should connect with them, and maybe they can give you some tips or add some stuff to it too. So I'm going to do that, work on it, and maybe reconnect with some people.
You should go into that like more, like just doing a little bit more personal things, because I know it's like a hard thing to do, especially like in hip hop, but I think it's an important skill to have, and an important like thing to share, like especially as an artist, like because we're all human, we all go through shit. So definitely want to encourage you to put out more personal stuff.
Yeah, maybe I should.
I mean, you could take baby steps, you don't have to like tell your entire whole life story, but it's definitely it's worth exploring.
Yeah, sometimes it comes down to like, shit, do I want anyone off the street to be able to like stumble onto my track that's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose.
But I agree with you. Ultimately, I think it's fine if you do it well. If you're able to produce the art and it's done well. Because the worst thing, it's worse to like do something personal, but then it like isn't good either.
Yeah, it makes me think of the SoundCloud rappers.
I'm like, is this even fucking good? Like, even if it's like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, at the same time too, like if you're really like performing from your soul, from your heart, then it's gonna come out good. You know what I mean? Because you can't fake that. That's like 100% you. Yeah. But like, I know what you mean though. Like I've heard like songs on like SoundCloud of like little rappers like talking about their girlfriend breaking up with them or something, and it's just like, ew, like I don't feel you.
Yeah.
But you could tell the difference when someone's really going through something and they're really feeling it and they're really like spitting or they're really singing. You know what I mean? You could tell, like you could feel the difference.
Can feel it.
But yeah, do you have any final thoughts or any things you'd like to share?
Yeah, just like I said, new studio, new setup. I'm looking forward to making a lot of more music coming up in the coming months. New project going to be coming out in the coming months. And yeah, just staying on it. Keep doing what you love.
Yep. Definitely.
So what you love loves you back.
Don't quit your day job.
Exactly. Yeah, so I am Metazul, Metazul, and you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. My album Rain, streaming now on all platforms. Go ahead and check it out. Mm-hmm. And show me some love. I'd appreciate it. And show some love to 1AM too, because she's super dope too.
But yeah, thank you guys again for tuning in. This is Artists at Work. I am your host 1AM, and we were speaking with Metazul, my good friend and dope artist. Make sure you guys tune into the next episode. Make sure you guys check him out too. Peace and love. Good night.
Peace. Good night. Thanks again, 1AM. I appreciate you.